Hello YouTube, my name is Transient Lion, and I am definitely not capitalizing on the hype for Seth the Programmer's Naruto vs. Ichigo animation, but in all seriousness, this is a matchup that I have been very interested in for years now, and I thought it would be fun to do a video about it based on what I know about Naruto and Bleach power scaling, which they are two of my favorite verses to power scale, so yeah, I figured I'd throw in my 2 cents, see what I think. Like, this isn't a prediction for how I think the Naruto versus Ichigo video is going to go. It's just my thought on who I think would win the fight and how I think it would go. Alright, so with that out of the way, I think it's pretty safe to just jump into the character's raw stats. And, I'm not going to give super detailed information about these because I can go into that much later on. But I will provide a basic framework for how strong the characters are in their strongest forms. And yeah, to make it easier on me, I am gonna go strongest forms, and it's gonna be end of Shippuden Naruto in 6 Path Sage mode versus end of Blood War Ichigo with the merged Hollow True Bankai. A lot of people might ask, why not do Baryon mode Naruto with this? But I haven't read or watched Boruto yet, so maybe I will do that matchup later after I have. But anyway, starting off with just the raw stats, for Naruto, his attack potency and durability should be like very high into moon level, and this is because he has half of Hagoromo's chakra, and was able to fight against Kaguya, who was a difficult opponent for the full. He was able to fight against and damage Kaguya, who was a difficult opponent for a full power Hagoromo. Hagoromo created the moon, so that's pretty cut and dry. Like, I don't really feel like I need to go into more detail about that. And speed-wise, these characters are faster than light. The feat most people use is Madara's Sage Art Light Fang, but really what they should be using is Guy literally warping space through his speed when he was fighting Madara in the 8th gate. Because Madara upscales from that, and Naruto and Sasuke were both able to hit Madara pretty directly. Not to mention that Kaguya upscales from that and should be, and they were able to, at the very least, hit her. So yeah, basically, to recap, Naruto is fairly high into moon level and faster than light in terms of speed. Like, a bit faster than light. I'm not entirely sure how much faster, but you'll see later that it... Well, you'll see later. As for Ichigo, and a lot of people put Ichigo at planetary, but that's not necessarily true, and it's because people don't really... I feel like anything I say about Bleach power scaling is going to make a lot of people really upset, but the fact of the matter is, Memories of Nobody is canon. Ichigo straight up said that he's gone to the Valley of Screams. He doesn't go to that place in the manga, but he does in the movie. The movie doesn't have major contradictions to the rest of the series, so yeah, the Blood War canonized events, the movie is canon, so that's just how it goes. And feats from that movie can be used. But yeah. Why am I bringing this up when Memories of Nobody takes place in between the Soul Society and Arrancar arcs? Because of the feat of Senna releasing the Blank's energy. This caused an explosion that prevented the planets of the world of the living and Soul Society from colliding. And basically, the weakened Soul King prevents more damage than that. The weakened Soul King prevents more damage from that from destroying the realms and breaking down the dimensional barrier. These then Bleach multiplier shenanigans upgrades that large star feat all the way into very low solar system level. I can explain why this feat is large star later in a different video, because I don't want to bog this video down too much with like explanations of why the characters are as powerful as they are. But like, that's a basic framing device for it. Ichigo, when it comes to Ichigo's speed, he is massively FTL, and this is because, and this isn't because of the Negacion light. That's actually not a usable feat. I can go into that later, but it's because Soul King Yuhavox Darkness was able to, Soul King Yuhavox Darkness was able to, like, travel a very long distance in a long time. Like, I think from the Soul King Palace all the way down to the Serite, which is a very long distance. And, that's also part of what that's part of why the calc is. That's part of why the Soul King's calc is large star, by the way. But anyway, like, that's an FTL feat, and Ichigo upscales from that. And he does, and through multiplier shenanigans once again, in the merged Hollow True Bankai form, he would be massively FTL because of 5 times multipliers. Anyway, so you can yell at me for like getting the tiers wrong all you want in the comments, but I think instead of talking about that, let's move on to what the characters can actually do hacks-wise. And since Naruto has a lot more, I'm going to talk about his first. And what better to start with than the Truth-Seeking Orbs. And these are some of the most overpowered broken hacks in the entire series. Like, they power null ninjutsu, they like existence erase anything they touch. They fucking... And Six Path Sage mode also makes you invulnerable to ninjutsu. And this is very important because we need to figure out whether or not this applies, because Naruto and Ichigo technically use 2 different energy systems. And I will say this, Reiatsu is a spiritual energy. It is energy derivative from the soul, and chakra in Naruto is partially physical and partially spiritual. So, I personally lean towards, yes, these 2 energies should be able to interact with each other. Even if you don't, though, what Naruto power nulls and becomes invulnerable to is essentially elemental attacks and energy attacks. So, technically, Naruto should be able to block any Getsuga Tensho that Ichigo can throw. Even the Gran Reisero Getsuga Tensho, that's 10 times more powerful due to being a Gran Reisero. But yeah, like, I will get to something else in a second, but like, I have an entire video about this, but the Rasen Shuriken ignores durability. I'll either link that video like in the comments or in the description, so you can get a better idea of like how that works. But like, yeah, basically, Rasen Shuriken attacks on a cellular level, and that should be an advantage. Another weird thing is, for some reason, characters just straight up regenerate slower when Naruto hits them with his Rasengans, and this is mainly because of like the second Tsuchikage, who is a reanimation, yes, but he does have low godly regeneration. You know, through being able to survive and come back from his body being completely eradicated. Like, I can explain, like, how the reanimation jutsu, like, makes characters overpowered in another video. But, yeah, just, like, Kabuto even is just like, bro, you're regenerating slower. Is that from Naruto? And it's just like, huh. That's interesting. But yeah, Ichigo is a lot less of a hacksy character, but I will say a couple things. And the first thing is the Reiatsu power null mechanic is pretty powerful. Like, Ichigo can just straight up nullify any hex ability that affects him, or that would affect him, from anyone with a spiritual energy, like, significantly weaker than him. And we established Naruto's moon level, Ichigo is solar system. So, yeah, I think it's safe to say that while the line isn't as necessarily clear, I don't think that Naruto's existence erasure, power null, durability negation, any other hacks that he has, is really going to work on Ichigo. But that doesn't stop Naruto from being invulnerable to Getsuga Tenshos. And I'm specifically saying Getsuga Tenshos because Six Path Sage Mode and the Truth-Seeking Orbs are explicitly stated to be still vulnerable to two things. That is Senjutsu, which is nature energy, and Ichigo doesn't really have that, and Taijutsu, which is just straight-up physical attacks. Ichigo still has a sword, and he still frequently uses melee in his combat. So that is definitely something to keep in mind. But the stat difference and the hacks doesn't matter as much as we understand what these characters are going to do in a fight. Now, assuming that these characters are in their strongest forms, neither of them are probably going to be holding back. And using standard battle assumptions from the Versus Battles wiki, which I think is fair, these characters should be reasonably in character and willing to kill, which doesn't seem out of the question for either of them, honestly. Like, Naruto doesn't end up killing a lot of characters, but I still think that he is willing to do it. Either way, that doesn't really change the fact that these characters would do stuff in fights, and let's figure out what. So, I think starting off with Ichigo is a bit more reasonable here, because Ichigo is clearly at a disadvantage when it comes to in-character fighting. Basically, Ichigo really doesn't fight a lot of very hacksy people. Like, sure, he fought Aizen, and Aizen's hacks is, like, it extends to, the passive existence erasure that happens to characters that are really, really close to him. And it's also Kyoka Suigetsu and reactive evolution, regeneration, stuff like that. And Aizen doesn't use Kyoka Suigetsu against him. the first really hacksy character Ichigo actually fights is Yuhavak, and there's no way to plan around the Almighty. Like, the Almighty is that broken. So, like, Ichigo doesn't really have to think around how to like, deal with it. He just has to hope that he's strong enough to kill Yuhavak, and that Yuhavak doesn't use the Almighty very well, which I don't think he does, but I'll get into that later, like, in a different video. I say that a lot, but, like, I have a lot of ideas for videos. Naruto, on the other hand, is very used to resorting to trickery and very much has a lot of tools to do that. Like, Naruto is very proficient with his clones, which I think should... Like, I'm not going to say that every clone he has is going to have 6-path Sage Mode, but all of those clones are going to help Naruto be a lot more hard to pin down, even though Ichigo is significantly faster. Plus, him being invulnerable to Getsuga Tenshos is going to be very hard for Ichigo to deal with because it means he has to get in close, which if Naruto has a bajillion clones out, is going to be very hard for him to pin down. Which essentially means that this fight is probably going to go like this. Naruto probably leads by creating a bunch of shadow clones. Believable. The clones all swarm Ichigo, and while Ichigo can beat those clones very easy, Naruto is going to be setting up some, like, several-step plan, which isn't out of the realm of possibility. Like, Naruto has shown the ability to, like, work on the fly, even against characters more powerful than him. I'm not saying he's able to really hurt Ichigo here, but, like, Naruto is able to, like, keep fighting for a while. And one of two things is going to happen. Either Naruto is going to be very good at evading Ichigo, using his clones, because he can't really keep up speed-wise, or, and he's going to keep Ichigo on the ropes long enough for this to be a stamina battle, or Ichigo's going to get lucky and find the real Naruto among the clones very quickly due to the speed blitz, and this is going to end in like a few attacks. I say a few attacks because Ichigo is very likely to like use Getsuga Tensho a few times, but like Ichigo isn't stupid either. He's going to realize, oh, okay, this isn't working. I wonder if I can just stab him with my sword. And granted, Naruto can regenerate, so he's going to need to stab Naruto in a very... He's either going to need to bisect Naruto, like, vertically, or he's going to need to, stab him in a very vital area. Which does help Naruto's case a bit, but yeah, I think Ichigo has more of an advantage here, especially since stamina-wise, Naruto can fight for a few days, because we saw him do that during the Fourth War, but Ichigo fought his Zanpakuto spirit inside the Dangai for literally 3 months without a break. So, in terms of stamina, Ichigo has the advantage here. So, if it's a stamina battle, Ichigo wins. If it comes down to a lucky shot with him having speed blitzed, Ichigo wins. So, right now, I do believe that Ichigo does win, but Naruto doesn't have nothing he can do against him. It's still going to be a fairly interesting fight. But yeah, that's my conclusion. I think Ichigo wins either through stamina, even either through stamina tanking through Naruto's hacks bullshit, or he or he wins through speed blitzing and one-shotting with physical attacks, which is the only way that he has the ability to win, by the way. So, yeah, pretty much, I think Ichigo wins this fight pretty easily. It's either going to take a while, or it's going to be pretty quick. So yeah, thank you all for watching this video. If you agree or disagree, feel free to leave it in the comments. I would love to hear what you guys have to think. So, yeah. Also, once again, I take requests for versus battles, explaining something from one of the verses that I've talked about, like power scaling stuff. Pretty much, if you guys want to see something related to that kind of stuff, just ask me and I might make a video about it. Either way, thank you guys so much for watching, and especially thank you guys for all of the views that you gave me on the Captain's Ranking video. I see that video get more and more views as time goes on, and it makes me so happy that I was able to like be seen by that many people. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much, and have a lovely day.